Hey, how's it going? I'm excited to share my guide on how to build products like the 1%. This is a more in-depth video of the one I did on my social media where I'm actually walking you through more of the steps. And we're going to go through an actual example. So let's get into it. So first we're going to start with the concept of time to dopamine. I'm going to be checking out Gamma, which is, has a lot of hype around it. I think they're 100 million in revenue. We're going to go through their onboarding, start to look at what it's like, hopefully get some insights that we can then pull for y'all. So first, we're seeing nice examples just early in the onboarding. We see these nice pieces like, oh, there are these things that they're actually creating. It kind of almost looks like they're now positioning also with slight Canva vibes. Before I think it was just focused on presentations. So it'll be interesting to see how that changes in the onboarding. I'm going to enter in my email now. Awesome, I got my email in. They also asked for my first and last name, which I usually try to avoid in an onboarding, unless if you really plan on using it strategically. But half the time people use a fake name, and the other half it's like, why are you asking? Maybe you could derive that already from my email or through context in the future. Okay, so the first thing I get is this pop-up for personal use, for work, for education. So far, if we're looking at like the time to dopamine, we've gone through 3 separate screens and have had no like real cool experiences for ourselves. Let's just say for us, which of the following best describes your role? Let's just go marketing. How many people are working in your organization? Let's go just me. So all of these questions so far are all around in helping them. None of it has been around like true context gathering for me, but that's like the intake form that sales made product put in, so they could look at enterprise customers. Even this is called a Heidi House survey, like so they could do better attribution. I'll just put other NA done. So this first part, all of that, I wouldn't say I would think of that as greedy, but it's not helpful for the actual user. If they went right from sign up to here, now it's starting to be cool. We have a nice visual, it's pretty clean. I have multiple paths. They give me a recommended thing here. So do I want to generate, paste in text, create from template? Not sure, start here. That's nice, it's user guidance. This is pretty good. 10 cards, a pitch deck for my breath work meditation app. Just gonna have that generate an outline. These are examples of like dopamine moments where it's like, okay, this is like kind of cool, right? Concise. I can choose the visuals. This is nice. Let's just have it generate. So it's like now we're getting into all the good stuff here. And I'm seeing this. This would be considered a dopamine moment. So if they cut out that initial flow, now we're looking at actual dopamine experience quicker into the product. So that's the one thing I would recommend for them. Obviously, when you get into a bigger sized company and more revenue, and they're trying to lock enterprise deals, they have multiple ICPs that they actually have to fix for, I would do that. But if you're not at that point, just literally drop them off immediately at the thing where it's like generating a pitch deck for me. Oh, you made your first Gamma. That's cool because they see that I'm scrolling up. So then they also know like, oh, he might churn right here. Okay, we're going to look at the next element is to study and emulate. That's basically what we're already doing here. So the things to actually copy. So this is another like an onboarding technique. Is this truly good? They work. A lot of people just skip them. How useful are they? They have more onboarding here. So these are the things companies put in when they're now studying like full retention. How far do people get into the funnel? Is this something that's going to help? Trying to teach them the actual product. The true North Star of a product is it is so intuitive that you don't need to use one of these. However, like for example, if you go through Claude's onboarding, I think at this point it's you sign up for email, then you get put into a Dropbox with just a text input. The same thing would be for Google, right? It's literally just a text input. You just type something in there. It's pretty straightforward. When you have teacher tools with a bunch of features, you have to figure out these different things. So things to emulate from their onboarding would be, how to get into the product as quick as possible. Also, we haven't put in anything else, like we haven't put in any credit card information. They do have upgrades. I'm sure you have like a certain amount you can do until you start getting charged. So it's a pretty good example of just like a core product flow. Let's actually analyze them from the perspective of world building. So if we look at this sign up page, this is also similar to what we had in regards to the onboarding page and to the first screen. If we go, let's go gamma.app, or I guess gamma.ai. Let's see if a lot of these themes are actually being pulled through the entire product. We see this similar vibe here with the clouds. They're kind of going more for like this like cloudy feel, a lot of GIFs or GIFs along their website, more of this feel here, 100 million users. Let's look at their social media and see if these themes are also being pulled through and how they're actually presenting the product there. First off, it looks like they don't even have this actually happens so often where big companies don't have their social medias linked properly in footers. It's pretty funny. Their TikTok, see, it looks like they are positioning towards corporate. A lot of their people, the customers they use are probably corporate people. It looks like they have just like a single social media person who's kind of just like the face of the company here. A lot of these videos getting like 300 views, so not doing super great. I wonder if they were running paid ads and that's where a lot of their initial traffic came from. It looks like they do have a couple of viral ones, 3.2 million. Sisters. What's hilarious about this is now like one of the most popular UGC app forms, where you have surprised person, usually it's a woman, surprised person, shock to product demo. Hi sisters. Like this is literally just what people do. I don't know why they haven't been ripping that more, versus doing more skit stuff. It's like, does this actually even make sense for this company? I think if I were to like take the TLDR of like, what are they trying to do? Effortless AI design for presentations, websites, and more. So they also are, looks like they are maybe going even into Canva territory, where it's just like a more general purpose design tool. I think Canva's revenue is huge now. $4 billion in ARR, which is absolutely wild. So I think they also go Canva presentations. So they are just direct competitors. Yeah, they have presentations now. So it makes sense why Gamma is getting into their market too. So continuing on, let's look. I'm just gonna, I wanted to see their YouTube channel actually. I want to see what they're doing on YouTube. So 46,000 subs, pretty impressive. What was actually popular? I wonder if this was paid. 750,000 3 years ago, maybe, introducing Gamma. See, these videos, like this video, for example, looks like the world building that we're talking about. Here's what comes off a bowl of strawberries when you drop this device in the water. These berries are fresh from the store and already rinsed under the tap, but within 10 minutes, the water changes color. What floats to the surface will change. Works in food safety testing. Okay, so they kind of have this like world building of space. I can get this vibe, I can get this idea.
Oh, hey, what's up? We started Gamma, design edits, turn any material with our API, get there.
It does look like they've switched a bit from this like space vibe, right? A lot of it's space vibe 2 years ago to now Gamma is more like just like, oh, whoops. What is it? Gamma app? GAMMA. To this just more light blue sky. So there is some incongruence maybe with their longer term design pattern, but I think it's pretty good. Yeah, I think the stuff they're doing now is maybe like a bit questionable, to be honest. It looks like their latest videos are okay, create presentations from any app with Gamma connectors. This is more in-depth. This is probably like living on their website in a fax. Yeah, like these are getting 300 views. Like none of these are actually meant to do well, right? It's like none of these are going to rip on the YouTube algorithm. They're not making content specific. They even had a talk with Malcolm Gladwell. It's ripping 350 views. Like they are falling pretty flat right now here. I wonder what the switch was. Introducing AI generated websites. They haven't had something ripped. The last thing was 4 months ago, and it was a launch video, which was probably sent out to 100 million customers. So the relativeness is not that great, to be honest. Everything else 1 year ago, all product demos. Yeah, they're not really worrying too much about it. Continuing on here, let's look from the perspective of now cutting the fluff. So if we looked at that initial onboarding and just in there, let's actually look in their product in general. So if you go into their product in general, we see media, templates, library, settings. It's actually a very unpopulated left sidebar, which is pretty impressive for probably how much stuff they're doing now. I would say being dropped off here seems like a pretty gray product. I'm not super impressed with this here. I guess they have tips and tricks. It's like, why is this locked? It's private. Oh, it's private. I feel like they should have like recommended items here or something more. Like, what do they actually want me to do? They probably just want me to create as many as possible. Like, this is the vibe that I actually want in the product versus this. Like, I'm surprised they actually don't have that happening. What is this new Gamma with this too? Yeah, so they are also going after social. So it is surprising they aren't like, oh, like what's your social account? We'll analyze your social account, give you recommendations for social things. Like, it seems like they are missing some elements here. This also is like what the hell am I supposed to do? That's not a great experience here. I think since they've moved from presentations to being multifaceted of having document, social, web page, graphic, adding web page is also wild. Why are they doing web pages in this product? To me, it seems like if we're looking at the element of cut the fluff, that might be one of them. I think, like, does Canva do web pages? So they have an actual website builder. I don't know why I would do this versus just using other tools. But I guess they're trying to go for a more broad market. I think they got to 100 million in revenue. Maybe they feel like it's stalling and they need to kind of get into this and try and get into like Lovable or Bolt territory. But I think that's going to distract a lot from the product. So I think that's something that maybe I would analyze. They probably have metrics. This is ripping a ton of revenue or it's not. But it's like, do you guys actually need to get into this or not? I don't know. Yeah, I think it's not, the core flow is maybe needs a bit more of like being like, this is what works, this is what doesn't work. Yeah, last thing we'll just look at real quick is to be opinionated. I think that is something I would want to see more in the product, where it's like, this is why these pitch decks or presentation like this does better, or we have our own specific philosophy on pitch decks. If not, they're literally now just trying to compete against Canva, who already own this space. I don't know why I would choose Gamma over Canva. And I think that's where if they were opinionated, they could actually have more of a perspective and do more. So this is an example maybe of like Canva being just presented as the AI design tool, right? And why they've been able to like eat Figma's lunch is you don't have to be able to design to be able to do this, right? It's just pure prompts. So if Gamma not having the pure, holding on to the past of being the presentation tool while also trying to be this AI design tool, I think they need to rebrand a bit and be like, where are we actually sitting in the category and how is that sitting against Canva? This video in-depth, total nerding out. I just wanted to share my thought process on how I think about analyzing things through this guide. So then, that you can take a whole roadmap alteration based on this thought process. How can we get people to value faster? How can we also share them the other things, like we made you 4 sample social media posts based on this deck you made. And also here's a website example if you do want to fold in these other things, and how do you actually position it properly in the market. Hopefully this was helpful. Drop comments or send me a DM if you have more questions or ideas. Thank you, or you want me to analyze your site. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, my friend.